Well, you heard the announcement. As about to make his way to the ring, must be a very nervous individual indeed, as MTX Jem Brown looks to enter into an all-out war with Ring of Honor's own Homicide. And for a man that's going in there with someone the caliber of Homicide, MTX doesn't look intimidated in the slightest. And you know what? I don't think that MTX is intimidated by the reputation of Homicide. He might not be intimidated by the reputation, but let's find out if he has what it takes to go head to head, toe to toe with one half of the Rottweilers, Homicide. Well, you hear the announcement as we await for the entry of the notorious 187. And MTX pacing back and forth. One has to wonder what type of game plan you have to take in there with a man the caliber of Homicide. You can try and take him to the mat, but you've got to be careful of those vicious strikes. MTX, of course, a former Brawl champion, and Homicide doesn't look too happy. This does not bode too well for MTX. Both men lock up with a collar and elbow tie-up. MTX backs Homicide into the corner. And we see a clean break there from MTX. Let's hope that's a sign of things to come in this contest. And this time Homicide backs MTX in the corner. And Homicide does not return the favour from MTX. We see no break from Homicide as he takes down MTX with a side headlock takedown. MTX looking for a way out. MTX rolls through on the side headlock. Homicide got to be very careful about his ring positioning there. And I think we could say it would be considered an upset if MTX was to defeat Homicide. But early indications show that he has every chance. Really hanging with Homicide in the opening stages is MTX. Fisherman suplex, nice bridge! Can only get a 2 count. MTX going for the big moves early. Homicide ducked his head down, MTX capitalised. Both men lock up once more. Homicide has the advantage, but MTX gets himself back to a vertical base. Oh, MTX fell through on Homicide then, and Homicide now going to capitalise on this. Snapmare takedown, nicely done from... Oh my, did you hear the impact of a kick to the spine? There's a lateral press. MTX almost, oh look at Homicide raking away at the eyes, raking away at the eyes of MTX before scraping them. It's a big back scrape there. Did you hear the impact of a chop? There's a big European uppercut, and that sends MTX crashing to the canvas. Just a merciless kick to the spine from Homicide to MTX. This man will show no sympathy, no remorse. And there's a closed right fist, and that's perfectly illegal as referee Andy Quilden there administering Homicide. Homicide claiming it was an open fist, but it quite clearly wasn't from my vantage point. As Homicide now goes behind with a hammerlock, rolls through, and now is stretching MTX like a pretzel. And MTX may have no option but to give up right here and right now. Homicide cranking away, MTX with a resounding no, but surely he cannot sustain that long in this manoeuvre. The body was not meant to bend in this kind of shape, and Homicide, realising that MTX wasn't going to submit with a lateral press, can only get a 2 count. You saw a vicious knee to the skull before Homicide went to that lateral press. And MTX fighting back. Do not take anything away from MTX, he is tough. He is fighting back, but Homicide cuts him off with a poke to the eye and now sends MTX crashing to the outside of the ring. Oh my, MTX sent plummeting through a sea of chairs. Again, the impact of the chop, and now MTX is being choked. He's being choked like an animal by Homicide. Homicide is playing games with MTX, and he's playing games with the referee, but MTX fights back one more time. There's a fire from MTX, but Homicide, oh my, the impact of a headbutt, and there's a chair across the skull, and the referee being a little lenient here. I can understand that we want to see a conclusive finish to this match, but surely a line has to be drawn, and Homicide is crossing that line. Homicide is a vicious street thug, and MTX is in serious trouble in the ring right now. And listen to Homicide talking trash to MTX. With Homicide, it is as much about intimidation as it is hurt. And MTX is powering out and now digs the foot into the spine of Homicide. Nice reversal. Homicide going to be looking for a way out, looking for a rope perhaps. Oh, and instead of going for the ropes, decides to respond with a low blow. And he's saying, Homicide is telling referee Andy Quilden that he kicked MTX in this fight, and we all know that that was a blatant low blow, and I'm sure Homicide could be into some disciplinary action here for his actions tonight. Upon the reviewing of this videotape, Homicide is just decimating MTX. See the impact. Lateral press could be over. Let's hope no. MTX has kicked out, and I'm not sure if that was a wise move from MTX. Homicide is brutalizing MTX, and MTX could be on his last legs right now. Just the impact of those blows from Homicide. But MTX is rocking, but he fires back with a right hand, and there's a second right hand, and MTX now giving Homicide a taste of his own medicine, perhaps plummeting away at a Homicide with a series of forearms, and then a headbutt. There's a drop kick to the skull of Homicide. And now MTX, this could be his moment, this could be his opportunity. There's a face wash in the corner, and MTX goes off the ropes one more time, and again with a face wash to Homicide in the corner. And now MTX looking for an upset as he's going to lift Homicide up, perhaps. Yes, vertical suplex, floats over, lateral press. 1 count only, oh my. 1 count only, and that has served just to piss Homicide off with a knee to the skull once, and a knee to the skull twice, and 3rd time's a charm, yes! And MTX is in some serious trouble now. This is a lateral press, just stay down! And MTX kicks out, and I think inadvertently low-blowed Homicide. Oh, so Homicide replies by stomping on his hand. And again, he could break every single bone in his hand, and Homicide doesn't care. And now look at him, he's raking away at the fingers, trying to break the fingers of MTX. Homicide is raking away at the fingers of MTX. That's sickening. That is sickening. Oh my, a kick to the spine. What we are seeing in the ring is legalised assault because it's in the confines of a wrestling ring. Homicide is getting away with GBH, but once more MTX fires back. Oh, but Homicide, just like that, with one click of the fingers, if you will, cuts Homicide off. But MTX with a reversal and a lariat sends Homicide to the canvas. And there's a second one. And Homicide back to a vertical base again. And MTX punches him on that top strand. I'm not sure where MTX has got this sudden lease of life from. Almost like he's just said, no more. As he's going for a superplex attempt. And Homicide nails him. He pushes him off the ropes. And now look at Homicide putting his hands on the official. Oh, but Homicide took his mind off the game. Small package can only get a 2 count. And again, Homicide back to his feet and now rolls MTX through. And again, only a 2 count. Homicide is all over MTX Jen Brown. Brown, he gets an opening, and then Homicide is the first back to his feet from Jen Brown's offensive maneuver. That's how much Homicide has taken out of MTX, but MTX reverses a suplex attempt and again can only get a 1 count. And imagine the tricks that must be hang on, what's Homicide got? Homicide has a spanner. Homicide has a spanner from the ring and he's wrenched it. He's got it cranked around MTX's nose. Oh my. Homicide's trying to kill MTX and he doesn't care. And now rakes are back again. Homicide is a vicious street thug and is in this contest quite simply to hurt, to maim, to maul MTX. And there's a kick right to the skull. And now Homicide rings the arm and takes MTX down with a clothesline. DDT connects. Cover. And MTX again kicked out from out of nowhere. And Homicide, taking time to jaw-jack with the official, perhaps should focus on the match. But he pretty much has MTX where he wants him as he kicks him in the skull one more time. Talking trash every step of the way, but MTX reverses, has Homicide up on his shoulders, going for a Death Valley driver, connects, could be over. 2 count only, and this time MTX at least managed to keep Homicide on the canvas for the count of 2. Now MTX goes to the top, moonsault misses as MTX connects with nothing but unforgiving canvas, and Homicide takes off. Oh my, Lariat takes his head off. It's over. Homicide victorious. And what we've just witnessed was the assault. The legalised assault of MTX, Jem Brown, as Homicide clothesline his head off, and Homicide is victorious. What an impressive debut for Brawl from Homicide. I don't think MTX will ever be the same again.